Self-fulfilling prophecies occur more often than you'd think. In this lesson, we discuss this phenomenon and explain how it's due to a cognitive error. We also go over some classic studies as well as real-life examples. Have you ever woken up and just knew it was going to be a bad day? You roll out of bed and stub your toe as you make your way to the bathroom. You can't find your backpack and you are already running late. You find the backpack but miss the bus. You finally get to school and realize you forgot your lunch. And to top it off, everyone else seems to be in a bad mood, and bad things just continue to happen throughout the day. This bad day is most likely attributed to the self-fulfilling prophecy. A self-fulfilling prophecy is when a person unknowingly causes a prediction to come true, due to the simple fact that he or she expects it to come true. Here's another example. A famous psychology experiment conducted by Robert Rosenthal and Lenore Jacobson in 1963. This study, which we will call the Bloomers experiment, is where Rosenthal and Jacobson brought to public attention a powerful type of self-fulfilling prophecy in a classic experiment about the expectations of teachers. In the experiment, all students in a class were given a standard IQ test. After the results were scored, the researchers informed the teachers that 5 students in the class had unusually high IQ scores and would probably be intellectual bloomers who leaped ahead of their classmates during the remainder of the year. In reality, the 5 children were chosen at random. But by the end of the year, all the children had gained an IQ, but the 5 intellectual bloomers had gained much more than the other students. Rosenthal and Jacobson found that teacher expectation can influence student achievement. They believed that even attitude or mood could positively affect the students when the teacher was made aware of them being intellectual bloomers. The teacher may even pay closer attention to and even treat the children differently in times of difficulty. The teachers evidently treated the intellectual bloomers differently from the other students after being told to expect sudden improvement. Rosenthal and Jacobson's study showed that if teachers were led to expect enhanced performance from children, then the children's performance was enhanced. This study supported the hypothesis that reality can be positively or negatively influenced by the expectations of others. So, what is the self-fulfilling prophecy? This prophecy states that our beliefs about how a person will behave will make the expected behavior more likely. In other words, self-fulfilling prophecy is a belief that leads to its own fulfillment. Think of self-fulfilling prophecy as a circular pattern. Our actions towards others impact their beliefs about us, which dictates their actions towards us, which then reinforces our beliefs about ourselves. This in turn influences our actions towards others, which brings us back to the beginning of the cycle. This pattern can be positive or negative. Under the self-fulfilling prophecy house, there are 2 effects mentioned, the Pygmalion effect and the Golem effect. Let's start with the Pygmalion effect. Pygmalion was a character in Greek mythology who carved an ivory statue of a beautiful woman. The statue was so beautiful that he fell in love with the woman and quietly wished for a bride who would be, quote, the living likeness of my ivory girl. Aphrodite granted his wish and his statue woman came to life. Pygmalion married her, and the beauty that he saw in the statue came to life. The Pygmalion effect, which is sometimes referred to as the Rosenthal effect, is a type of self-fulfilling prophecy where if you think something will happen, you may unconsciously make it happen through your actions or your inactions. It occurs in the workplace when a manager raises his or her expectations for the performance of workers, and this actually results in an increase in worker performance. However, on the other side of the spectrum, we have the Golem effect. Golem was a clay creature given life to protect the Jews according to Jewish mythology. According to the legend, the golem grew more and more corrupt to the point of spiraling violently out of control, and he had to be destroyed. The golem represents the concerns of social scientists and educators, which are focused on the negative effects of self fulfilling prophecies. So, the golem effect is the opposite of the Pygmalion effect and is a psychological phenomenon in which lower expectations placed upon individuals, either by supervisors or the individual themselves, lead to poor performance by the individual. In simpler terms, lower expectations leads to lower performance. Here are a couple of key points to know about self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-fulfilling prophecies must involve at least two people. You cannot have a self-fulfilling prophecy with yourself. There are 4 steps to self-fulfilling prophecy. Step 1. The perceiver has expectations about how the target will behave. Number 2. The perceiver then behaves in a way that is likely to elicit the expected target behavior. Number 3. The target indeed behaves in a way that confirms perceiver's expectations. And number 4, the perceiver sees the predicted behavior. Now the question's on everybody's mind. Can these expectations be accurate, as when teachers judge their students or parents judge their children, or when individuals judge individuals? Psychologists say yes, these can be accurate, but not 100% of the time. Can perceivers do anything to avoid self-fulfilling prophecy? Studies have shown that self-reflection can lead you to become aware of how and why you behave certain ways to certain people. You need to reconsider your expectations and behavior towards people and understand where self-fulfilling prophecy is leading and guiding your perceptions. Only by acknowledgement and understanding can we truly avoid self-fulfilling prophecy. Social psychologists have found that targets of self-fulfilling prophecy often strive to disprove inaccurate or unappealing expectations. However, unfortunately, they are not always successful as people believe what they will believe